Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Three Dumb Dads.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Hope you guys had a great 2 weeks. And if you didn't catch the warning coming into this episode, we are going to be a little more serious, especially the first half of this. We do have a game ahead for the end, so make sure you stick around. Hopefully you guys do enjoy the entire episode, but with the current state of the world, we're pretty much just going to jump straight into it. We're not really messing around. This is something that the three of us have talked about, and we're kind of taking it from a couple different angles. Seth, Ebby, one of you guys want to kind of bridge and breach the topic?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll try to. The most controversial person in the world should lead into this, but
yeah, why not?
Not really the most controversial person in the world, but
yeah.
I mean, I think it's been highly talked about, the unfortunate school shooting, mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Just becoming which is insane to say, a regular occurrence in everyday America. Which is, just, I don't care what side of the aisle you stand on, it's sickening regardless of where what your stance is. And before we get into any of this, I'm going to preface this by saying anybody that's listening to this, whether it's now or like we say 10 years down the road, these are 100% our opinions. They're not affiliated with any team, Coastal Carolina, LVC, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody from this podcast is affiliated with anything when we're making these comments and statements. Our jobs, nothing. These are just personal opinions, personal expressions. If you don't agree with them, fine. You don't have to agree with them. That's part of the benefit of living in America. We're not here to offend anybody. If you get offended, sorry, this is the wrong place for you to be, because I'm offensive every week that we're on here. But I think everybody here has their own thoughts and opinions, and I have no idea where this conversation is going to go. But we did, agree to try to keep a timer on it. I'd say no more than 35 minutes, maybe 40 at the most. Because I know that there's a lot of stuff for us to talk about. And so, yeah, anywho, Three Dumb Dads podcast, we obviously condolences, well wishes, whatever the fuck words will work for you. If you've been immediately impacted by this, I'm talking directly impacted by this. I don't even know really if words can do any justice or do any help at this point. But just know that, our thoughts are with everybody out there in Uvalde, Texas, and everywhere else in America that's been affected by mass shootings since then, and Buffalo and all of that other stuff. So without talking for the next 30 minutes, I'll pass it over to y'all, and you guys can get started.
I think first, I want to say, you're exactly right. Unfortunately, it's gonna happen again. There's no doubt that it's gonna happen again. That's what really sucks about these situations.
It really does. Let me throw this one thing. So I've kind of purposefully, both for the podcast, but also just for my own sanity, I've tried to not research, not go through and try to find every article and figure out the timeline and where did he get everything and all of that. Because one, all that's doing is giving money to all these places that are covering it and making it more of a spectacle. But I saw a very interesting point that was made today, that as we move forward, and like Ebby said, there will be another one at some point. It's inevitable at this point, and until there's some kind of change, and what that change needs to be is one of the most highly debated points out there right now. Between that and abortion, we're debating everything, and you saw some very sick things afterwards, kind of because of those two pieces coming together. But one of the things that was brought up is most school shootings take place by somebody who went to that school in general. Not necessarily a current student, but, there's been people that, maybe they went there, they came back, they didn't get along with the teacher, something like that. So in some way, shape, or form, somebody there or something about that school that they went to hurt them. Well, every one of these kids is now going through mass shooter training, which means when they're coming up with their plan, they know what the response is going to be, which also means, same as we see a terrorist blow something up small, maybe affect 5, 6, 10 people, but then the real terrorist attack is after the first responders get there and everything else, because they know what that response is going to be. They've seen it. Now we're seeing that coming through in this shooting, where he knew exactly what the response was going to be, how it was going to work, and all of that. How does that play into the future?
I think, one way, and I'll just dive right into it.
Nope, go ahead, please, I think, because I'm holding out.
I think, and again, this is my opinion, yep. Like Seth said in the beginning, this is all my thoughts.
If you don't like it, fuck off.
One, I think every district needs to have at least one person who is armed, whether it be armed security. Let's just even say one teacher, think of it as like the designated survivor. Nobody knows who it is. They got the weapon. Or, in my opinion, every teacher should have to, go through a gun safety course, a proper gun safety course. You could put a firearm in every classroom where only the teachers have access to it. You put it in one of those safes where it's only accessible by like their fingerprint, whatever the case may be, to the point where the kids don't even know it's there. I don't even know. Do you even have to tell the parents? If something happened in my district and say teachers took action and they were like, oh, by the way, every teacher had a firearm in their classroom, I'd be like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I think
the only thing that I'm going to say about that is, and then I don't think there is a wrong answer. Let me rephrase that. I don't think that there's a grossly wrong answer whenever we're talking about potential solutions or ways that we can work towards preventing something like this. My only argument with the teacher thing is, like, these fucking people these people that are teachers went to college to be a fucking teacher. They didn't go to school to be a police officer. That's not what they signed up for. Nor did they, sign up to be, handling firearms. So that would be my only qualm. It's a weird word.
I think to just kind of caveat what Ebby said is, if you made it that it wasn't a necessity, but I don't necessarily agree with it should be somewhere in there. It should be, if that teacher is comfortable with carrying, have them pass a course, have them do something. Like, I'm fine with that part, like if they want to carry in school, but it should be concealed. It should be, that the students don't know whether or not they are, who did, who didn't, because obviously they become a target. But also, I would rather, there's lots of teachers that I know that would pick it up immediately. But it needs to be their choice, in my opinion.
My only argument against this, and it's not, listen, anything can happen, right? But, like, if we start putting guns into teachers' hands, and this is like a, a regular thing, right? What's going to stop one of them from fucking shooting one of your kids because they, kid threw something at them because they were being an asshole? I'm not saying that that's like going to happen on a daily basis, but like what happens when that does happen? Because eventually it's going to, right? These kids are just driving me fucking insane. It's a day 170 of 180. This kid's throwing something at me 170 days in a row. He doesn't listen. I'm at my breaking point. Nobody knows what's going on inside of, and I'm not saying that a teacher would do that necessarily, but you're then adding an additional layer of, a potential of something happening. And I'm not yet getting into the gun debate. I'm not saying that we should take guns from people. So Second Amendmenters, Trump humpers out there, fucking slow down. I'm not getting there. But, I just worry that I honestly, Abby, I like your idea of having somebody like the designated survivor where nobody fucking knows who it is.
Yeah,
nobody
knows.
Nobody. Like the only people that know about it is like the superintendent and that person, or like the school board and that person. The principal doesn't know, none of that shit, because at that point you're then putting, you never know. What if you walk into that classroom? And yeah, that may not solve all the problems, but it's a start. And
It's something.
And listen, I think the conversation about, Matt, like you were saying, with these kids they're going through these active shooter drills and preparedness and all of that stuff that's going on. You're right. I mean, these kids know what the protocols are and what the kids are supposed to do. Do I think that they benefit anybody? I don't fucking know. I mean, I'm sure there's studies out there, but once again, who the fuck do you trust? I tried staying away from as much news and media stuff as well, because again, you're going to have the left saying one extreme, the right saying another extreme, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. Honest to God, I've gotten a lot of updates from TikTok and just watching like real people filming from cell phones. It's kind of crazy that like, journalism and news stations and all that shit like are documenting and like reporting on stuff. I'd rather watch it straight from the person that was there and let me formulate my own opinion on what's going on based on the sounds, based on the actions of people, rather than some news person telling me over top of the video that's playing.
Yep.
That's just my opinion. But I'll divest, or I'll digress.
It even kind of dives into, I feel like we're just going to like go down different
No, you're good.
throughout this whole thing. There's definitely still a lot of flaws. Like exactly how you said, like these kids are practicing what to do. I mean, it's like a fire drill,
Oh yeah.
You practice your fire drills. What if the school's on fire? We go out here, we do this. Now it's, what if there's an active shooter? So one, that could be a flaw. How if someone attended that school, now they know exactly what's going to happen, like we said.
Yeah. So
I was a part of a flaw that
okay.
recently that I feel, I think it was like 2 days after this happened. I had to go to my kid's school to get my license scanned into their system to be a visitor because they had different events coming up. Obviously, they got to know who was in the building.
Makes sense.
So I go to we'll call it the front door, like the main office door. They have a little buzzer right outside the office, buzz it, and they say, "Oh yeah, how can I help you?" I said, "I'm just here to get my license scanned in." I said, "Oh, okay. Come on in." So if I was a psycho, okay, I instantly just got buzzed into this office. When I went into the office, there was both secretaries, teacher, and the principal. If I was psychotic, I could have taken out 4 people. And I was 1 door away from entering the school.
Yeah. And you could have easily just hit the buzzer and walked right through.
My thing with that is, why wasn't I greeted at the door by the armed police officer that is at the school every day? What's your business here? What is your name? Who is your kid's name? Let me check your license before you go in.
Right.
And also, I think, why am I not going through a metal detector?
Well, like many things at this point, and this is probably an unpopular opinion. I would say 50 to 80% of current security protocols do nothing but give you a false sense of security. Because if you truly, now, again, at the airport, you're not getting anything by. But it's probably relatively easy at most places to get a weapon into just about anywhere. A sporting event, a school activity, anything like that. They have, you got to they got the guy with the wand. Oh, that was my belt. Sorry. Like, it just makes you feel good that they had a process in place, because now, hey, they got to scan your license to make sure that they know who's coming to the game or coming to the event.
I mean, I get the point behind it. Like,
but the execution's horrible. It doesn't actually provide any safety.
Right. Like, that's what I mean. I think, I don't know, I could just keep going back and forth and back and forth.
Here's, I guess, the way that I think of this. If there's going to be an overprotection of area, fine. Airport's one of them, right? We're going to be overly protective of people getting onto airplanes. Why aren't schools second?
Yeah.
Why aren't they second?
Again, after Kennedy got shot, we beefed up security around all these political figures and everything else. There is a massive amount of armament around any public figure. Whether you see it or not, you know it's there.
Yeah.
The fact that one of the suggestions that I saw that to me makes the most sense, and I understand it's not going to happen, but I want to say it anyway. The bajillion dollars that we sent in relief to countries X, Y, and Z. We have a veteran problem with suicide and mental health and all these other things. And homelessness, joblessness. Excuse me.
COVID.
What? Yeah, whatever. What would be a real easy place for a veteran to come back, have a very secure position, and they've already written the check up into including their life for the country? I guarantee you they're going to write it up into their life to protect a child.
Yeah.
You could even go as far as,
find me a vet that says no.
Look how many vets could be in that school district. Look how many veterans could have kids at that school.
Yeah, and we could just pay them. Why not?
Yeah.
Why the fuck not?
I mean,
they want to do something.
I mean, I don't know if
and
the
I'll
guy
tell
was
you
a
right now,
veteran
they're not
or
standing outside when something goes down.
No. So, the guy who took out the shooter, Border Patrol agent,
Texas
not sure
Ranger.
if he was a veteran.
Was he a Texas Ranger?
I think he was
Or was he
both.
Border
I think
Patrol?
he was former
Border
Texas
Patrol,
Ranger, now Border Patrol. I think.
Either way.
Law enforcement. Not sure if he was a veteran or not. Did you hear how he got there?
Didn't he run?
Because
there was an
his
accident
wife,
or something?
He was in the chair at a barbershop.
Oh, yeah, I did
Got
hear
a
this.
text from his wife, who is a teacher at that school, saying, "Active shooter, please help. I love you." This dude jumped out of the barber chair, went to the school. I'm gonna pump this guy up. kicked down the fucking door, found this guy, and did what he had to do. Like,
Could be more
we need
people
people
like
like that.
Yeah.
Yes, protecting our kids. But instead, we got districts that are worried about if their mascot is offensive or not.
Yeah.
Look at your hat.
Mine being one of them. That's why I fucking wore this hat tonight. For that reason.
That's funny.
Yeah. I got a cock on my head. Fuck off, everyone.
Well, I mean, this is
Wow.
Dutchman. Is that offensive to, the Dutch?
The Dutch. Yeah.
Right.
You're a racist piece of shit. I don't think that's more. Anyway. You kind of touched on something earlier. Are you good if I start?
Yeah, go.
All right.
Floor is yours.
You kind of touched on, the mental health, and I don't want to get into a long diatribe about this because I have other important shit to say, but I just continually am appalled at how poor our mental health system is in this country. It's truly disgusting. And I'm lucky in that I've been in treatment for 12, 13, 14 plus years. But it's not easy. It's hard just to get an appointment with somebody, and people that are in desperate need, like within a 24-hour time period, are being told like, well, our earliest appointment's 6 months away. Like, that's just unacceptable. And the veterans are in the same position. They're not getting support that they need. Think about this. Like, these guys go and do whatever the fuck our country asks of them. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. They're going to do it, right?
Yep.
And they come back here and we don't do shit for them. Like, what the fuck is up with that? Like, why is that okay? It's not okay. And anybody out there that thinks that it's okay, you're a fucking jackass. And I hope that you're never put into the position that you need some type of help and there's no resources available to you, or there's only a limited amount of resources available to you. And, it's just ridiculous. This may trigger people, and I really don't give a fuck. But why are we selling AR-15s? 2 of them, actually. 2 to be exact. To a kid who just turned 18 years old. Why?
But you have to be 21 to get a handgun.
Well, you have to be 21 to have a drink of alcohol, but you have to be 21 to buy tobacco products now.
And
You have to be 21 to
go,
gamble.
and 18 to go die for your country.
Right. But in the same, you can buy a semi-automatic rifle, 2 of them at the same time. Why?
Just because you're 18 doesn't mean that you're an adult.
No. And I've towed this line. I was writing my notes. I got a giant notepad filled with notes. I've towed the line very fucking closely because I know a lot of people. I grew up in an area that's very, I'll call it redneck. My wife's from an area where that's, very country-ish, very pro-Trump, pro-gun, pro...
Uh-oh.
Boy.
I think we might have lost him.
He was rolling.
I know. He was rolling, and now all of a sudden he froze.
Oh, no.
He just lost power. Well, that's not fun.
Ugh.
That was like the Animal House moment. Like, don't interrupt him. He's rolling.
I know. Now I feel like it's the Titanic moment. Like, come back. Come back.
I'll never let go.
Oh, man.
So while we wait for Seth to come back, one thing one thing that I found kind of interesting that I saw today, and again, I've done no research beyond the headlines that I see, the random TikToks that pop up. I've not verified anything. I'm kind of looking at this like the average American does, because I'm sorry, we don't look at shit with any kind of critical thinking. But one thing that I saw today that was kind of interesting was the fact that apparently he bought, two AR-15s or two 5.56 semi-automatic rifles, had multiple, I think they said 1,600 rounds. I mean, did you catch how many rounds? I saw somebody saying something. A large number of rounds that are basically about $1 each. Like they looked, all told, according to a kind of conservative number, according to what I saw, he had to spend like $9,000 on all this stuff.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, and then he had like a $65,000 truck.
So I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, we were just filling some time talking about the one thing I saw.
No. That's fine. So listen, I looked this shit up. Okay. In terms of the guns thing. So again, before I crashed, I said, like, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Abby, can you hear me?
Hear him or see him?
I can hear you and see you, so the audience can hear and see you.
Okay. Abby.
That's all that matters.
Abby can hear me, so.
Okay. Abby can hear him. Well, I don't want to. Hang on.
We're bouncing all over the place.
Sorry, guys.
All right.
Can you hear me now, Abby? Abby?
Now Abby froze. Oh, wait, no, he's back. Abby, can you hear me?
Oh, man. I can hear you.
Okay, you can't hear him.
Tell him to close out and come back in.
Close out, come back in, he says. Chat, thanks for hanging out.
Technical difficulty. Right. We'll edit that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my fault.
We. He says we as though we all do it.
All right,
Seth will edit that out.
I will. Oh my God, seriously. Not here.
Stop. Once Abby's face pops back in. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we're back.
Let's go.
All right. So, as I was saying before I abruptly disconnected, apologies, everyone. I come from a very pro Second Amendment, pro right side leaning area. And I want to say that I am 110% behind owning guns. Okay. I'm prefacing this with that. I own guns. They're not here, but I own them. And I truly am. But why does an 18-year-old need two AR-15s? Why? Why?
It doesn't make sense.
Why does anyone outside of military and police need an AR-15? And the answer of it's fun and because I can, to me, isn't good enough. Because if you were to tell me that we would be able to significantly cut down on the number of lives lost in school shootings by simply taking away everyday citizens' right to own a automatic or semi-automatic weapon, I'm saying yes 1,000 times because I'm choosing kids over a fucking gun. And sorry, but if you don't feel that same way, I don't want to hear the argument of, oh, well, they're going to start with that and then they're going to come after this. No.
Slippery slope is a bad argument.
I don't want to hear, well, the second they take your AR-15, then they're just going to come for your shotguns, and then they're going to come for your handguns, and then they're going to come for your rifles. Okay. I'm not talking about any of that shit. I'm talking about military-grade weapons. You know what we don't have in this country? You know what we don't have? We don't have a fucking grenade problem. You know why we don't have a grenade problem? Because everyday fucking Americans can't just go get them. Why do we have controls over things like that, but not on an AR-15 or an AK-47 or any M16, whatever the fuck you want to call it? Because I'm sure somebody's going to be like, oh, well, you didn't think of this one. I don't give a shit. Anything that's semi-automatic that can have a high-capacity magazine that can be used to do nothing but slaughter innocent kids. And yeah, I'm saying this, emotionally, because my fucking kids are all in school. If you were to say, we'll get rid of them, it's going to significantly reduce the chance that your kid dies in a school shooting, sign me the fuck up. Sign me the fuck up. Sorry.
I think, the gun debate is always going to be there. That's going to be the first thing that comes up when this happens. We should get rid of ban guns, not books. I've seen those signs around social media since.
I don't want to ban all guns. I just want to ban and people always get angry at the assault rifle. People say they're not assault rifles. That's not what AR stands for. We get it. Okay. We're talking about, hang on one second. What? Okay. We're not talking about, it's not an assault rifle, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's a gun capable of inflicting high amount of damage in a very small window of time. We don't need that. Are we on the front lines over in Baghdad or, Islamabad or Afghanistan or Iraq or anywhere? No. We don't need that shit here. And if we do, you know who we fucking call? We call our armed forces. We call our police. The people that are fucking trained to have those. The people that we want to have those.
So
sorry.
Let me just play devil's advocate to you, and that's kind of purely what it is. So the difference between let's say 5.56 and 45, relatively close in terms of damage inflicted when hitting a body. True, false?
Yeah. Listen, you can use a 22 and it's going to do the same.
Well,
it's capable of killing.
But
bullet's a bullet.
So, and again, this is playing devil's advocate to it. An AR-15, you're depending on the magazine capacity, 15, 20, 30, somewhere in that area is most of the magazines that are used for those rifles. Most handguns have 15 plus 1, 12 plus 1, 18 plus 1, similar magazines. What's the difference in semi-automatic? Because they're both semi-automatic. If I have a Glock 19 or a Glock 17 and an AR-15, what's the difference? And I'm just asking to kind of play devil's advocate to that. Why is one worse or better than the other? Because I know guns. That's why I feel like I can ask this.
In my opinion, number one, if I was the resource officer or whatever, the police officer that is going to go toe to toe with a suspect, right? It's 100 times easier. And I'm not saying this factually or statistically because I don't fucking know, but I'm just saying it off the top of my head. It is much easier for me to subdue or stop somebody holding a handgun than it is somebody holding an assault rifle. That's just simple. If they're turned facing this way, holding a gun, right? Or they're up like this. Yes, it may be faster, but what about the accuracy?
Again,
We're not living in. I mean, John Wick they're great movies, but none of that's real, right? That's all special effects.
You mean you can't curve a bullet?
that was a different
you
movie.
cannot curve a bullet. But no, it was a different
Wrong movie.
but still.
Right.
But I don't want people to get this twisted. Okay, I don't think that every person out there that owns an AR-15 is a bad person. My dad has one. Okay, it's actually in my father-in-law's possession, locked in a safe. But why does he need it? He doesn't. And I saw a comment: if a mob's coming and threatening me and my family, like the couple in Missouri, I'm gonna want something. Well, yeah, I agree with that. And I completely agree with standing your ground. I completely agree with owning your own guns. But also pick up the phone and call 911. More resources. You are not going to stop a mob by yourself just because you have an AR-15 or an AK-47 or an M16. You're just not. Because are you a proficient shot? How much ammo do you have? It's hard enough to get fucking ammo in this country. You know, I just don't see the need for us to have military grade weapons available to the public because we don't have grenades. I can't just go to the gun shop and buy a grenade. I can't go to the gun shop.
Is it, just to ask, because I'm honestly really not sure. Is it illegal to own a grenade?
Because like I know, make your own.
Well, like because I know it's illegal without the tax stamp to own a automatic. You're like you can't own an automatic M16, AK-47, anything like that. Anything sold to the public is only semi-automatic.
Why? Why is that? Tell me why.
Well, the short answer is because the government wants more money. but
why is it okay? So, and this is just I'm trying to open this up for discussion because why is it okay to ban automatics, right? But not semi-automatics, right?
Well,
the semi-automatic handgun argument is, whatever, right? They're handguns. That's how they are. Unless, I mean, even a revolver's technically semi-automatic because the fucking chamber turns. But
be really a double barrel shotgun or a pump shotgun would be the only thing not semi-automatic that most people would think of gun-wise.
But there are semi-automatic shotguns.
Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. A pump shotgun or a double barrel because those are
bolt action rifle.
Yeah, I mean, most guns most people think of are typically going to be semi-automatic.
So my question is though, like, my question to you two,
okay,
and to everybody else out there. If tomorrow, Tweedledee, Tweedledum, all of our politicians come together for once in the, history of mankind, and we say, we promise, I shouldn't say we promise. We promise is a bad phrase. We feel that there's been enough mass shootings, right? I think everybody can agree that there's been enough. And anybody that doesn't agree, you're a fucking psycho and need mental help. We're going to restrict sales of AR-15s, M16s, AK-47s, M4A1s, whatever you want to call them. Okay. Assault style rifles.
Well, but again, 3 out of the 4 things you just said are restricted currently.
By who?
The federal government. M4A1, M16, and AK-47 are all automatic.
Oh, they make them semi-automatics. If that's true, if what you're saying is true, And
that's one of my personal biggest issues every time this debate comes up. And I'm not saying you're doing anything intentional here, but everybody talks about assault rifles, but then throws in military assault rifles or military weapons. They're not the same thing. They're not what the military carries in any way, shape, or form, other than they use a similar round. They either use a 5.56 or a, was it 7
MMO8?
Huh?
Or 7.62.
7.62. I was like, my mind went blank. 7.62. With the exception of using a similar round, it's funny to me when somebody's like, "Oh, it's automatic. Every time you pull the trigger, it shoots a bullet." You're literally defining semi-automatic. It's not pull the trigger and a bunch come out. And,
I don't want that to be mixed up, right? I mean, we don't need nobody needs to be sitting on top of a Humvee shooting 50 cals out of an automatic.
No,
that's automatic, right?
But
those type of machine guns are automatic.
Correct. Yeah, but in my opinion, I don't have a problem with it. Now, what I will say, if anything is used for a crime, the punishments need to be way more severe.
I mean, I think when you throw the term, let's just say like military grade are used by trained professionals within the military. Hours upon hours of training on these weapons.
Thousands.
Like, I go down a lot of rabbit holes, and recently I was on my Navy SEAL kick again. And I was on, and I mean, this is totally kind of going off subject on a tangent, but like SEAL snipers and SEALs in general don't get to their weapons training for like months.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout their training. And then they're in school for more months learning the weapon inside and out.
Right.
I don't know. I think any Joe Schmo who can get access to these weapons, that's a problem.
Why do you need it?
Well, I mean,
honestly,
the people that crack me up, they say like for hunting, you don't hunt with a fucking AR.
You do not hunt with an AR.
I think the only exception to that is hogs in Lake Louisiana, because they'll do that out of a helicopter.
Yeah, and those people are different breeds.
Well, yeah. That's completely
Literally.
Different subject.
Kind of back to my question, right? So they say we're going to introduce this bill. We're going to ban all military-style, military-grade weapons, including grenades, even if they aren't, banned, or which they are. Because I don't know where you can get them. We think that this is going to at least slow down the active shooter mass shooting situation. Yes or no? Protect your kids, or back something that was written in the 1700s?
Especially nowadays, I think, why wouldn't your kids be number one?
I'm still personally it's both things. It's not a one or the other. To me, there's other ways to protect the kids. I think the veterans being there and manning the doors and the false sense of security that Ebby saw by taking his license in, that's a real, to me, that's the real issue here. On top of, obviously, mental health issues that need to be addressed and fixed. Because, yes, the gun is a means to the end. I get that. But would they have chosen something else to do it? Maybe. And maybe the outcome's different, of course. But
let me just throw this out there.
I mean, that's what...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that's what also sucks.
I'll say, hey, let's limit this to 5 more minutes. We'll go to 9:52, and then we'll just cut it dead and go to the more fun thing and lighten it up.
Okay, so I'll throw my final 2 points and then we can pass it along. What sucks is no matter what we do, people are going to find a way to get them. Look at drugs. I mean, drugs are illegal. People still find a way to get them, to sell them. That's a problem. People, I mean, it's always going to be a problem. And it sucks because we could debate this for hours, days, weeks.
Oh, yeah.
But my final thing that I will say is any parents out there that are listening, just hug your kids tonight. Hug them tight because there's 19 families in Texas that can't do that to their kids anymore.
And talk to them.
Yeah.
That right there is going to be the biggest thing that will save lives.
Yep.
Talk to your kids, understand what's going on, and figure out how to fix it.
And if you can't figure it out,
ask
or you
for
don't know
help.
what to do, every single county in this country has a crisis intervention program. You can reach out to your county office or whatever it is and just request that information, and they'll provide you with a crisis person to talk to, crisis counselor.
Beyond that, if it's to the point that, hey, I need help or my kid needs help this moment,
911.
Get your ass in the car, drive down to your local ED. I don't care what hospital it is. They have people there to help. I literally did it. I took someone to the hospital and I sat there for, God, it had to be at least 5 hours till we finally got everything moving. But that person ended up going inpatient. They spent about a month inpatient. They spent another 8 to 12 weeks outpatient. They've now been doing everything for, I want to say every other week or every week or whatever. And now I think they're down to like once a month. They're doing fucking fantastic. Take them to the hospital. Let the professionals fix it. It's okay to have a problem and it's okay to be broken. There are people there to help.
Yep.
That kind of echoes my point earlier about, the mental health system in this country is, if you're in desperate need and they tell you when you call a psychiatrist's office or a psychologist's office or a counselor's office that, it's going to be a few months and you don't think you have a few months, go to the ER. 100%. Go to the ER. They have places that are ready, willing, and able to take you. And there is somewhere for you to get help. Don't worry about your job. Don't worry about anything else other than putting yourself first and getting the help that you need.
Just throwing this out there. If you personally know any of the three of us, fucking call us. If you don't,
for real.
We have TikTok. We have everything. Send us a fucking DM if you need help. We will figure out some way to help.
Word.
Hell, if I got to call 911 and say, hey, I have somebody listening to my podcast from Phoenix, Arizona that needs help. Here's their address. I'll make the call. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I'm just gonna end my diatribe on this. The whole Second Amendment thing is always a hot topic, right? Where everybody has their own opinions. Everybody wants to keep their guns. Everybody wants to take away people's guns. I get it, right? Everybody's going to have an opinion on it. But I feel like a lot of this stuff that we have as law or amendments or whatever, a lot of this shit was written in the 1700s, right? 1700s. 300 fucking years ago. 250 years ago. Do you think that they would have a mass shooting problem in the 1700s when they wrote this? No. You know why? Because they were using muskets. Do you know how much effort's required to load a musket? That's when they wrote this. And we're still following it to this day. With all the technology that we have. With all of the advancements that we've made from like a weaponized perspective. From a weaponry perspective. Things can change. We've changed times drastically. we need to look at all avenues. Ultimately, at the end of the day, if our kids aren't safe, I don't give a fuck what kind of gun it is. If it's going to potentially save a kid's life, including my own, I'm for it. Because you know what? I don't give a shit that much. I don't really care. I can hunt with my bow. I don't need a gun. I mean, I don't want you to take them. But if it's my kid is safe and doesn't have to worry about dying or being afraid to go to school, or Billy Bob gets to carry a 45 with him wherever he wants to, I'm taking my fucking kid. Because, like Ebby said, there's 19 families out there that are never going to get to see their kids again.
Yep.
And it's only a matter of time until we're talking about this all over again. And there's 19 or 20 or 30 families that are never going to get to see their kids again. So, I mean nothing, right? I'm nothing. I'm a nobody. I'm just some jackass you're listening to online.
Which, thanks for listening, by the way.
But we need to start having some conversations, and something needs to be done. I don't give a shit what it is, but somebody needs to do something. Because my kid should not be afraid to go to school. Ever.
So it's not all the time that we get serious on here.
No.
But when we do, it's always good, I think. You know, we joke around a lot.
Somebody just said that the Second Amendment was written before the fucking light bulb was invented.
Good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good
light
point.
bulb was what, like the late 1800s? Something like that.
I forget.
Sorry, Eddie. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Hang on. I gotta let my dog out.
That's fine.
No, but it is that because we do joke around on here a lot. You know, we just shoot the shit a lot. But I think it's good when we get serious every now and then, because I think there are parents out there that can relate to us. Hell, there's any everyday people that can relate to us on shit when we do get serious. So it's nice. It's honestly nice to take a step back every now and then and take on the more serious subjects.
Yeah, I'm perfectly cool taking on serious topics. I just don't want to ever have to talk about this again.
Oh yeah.
But I know it's something that we're going to have to.
So,
because we have a bunch of lawyers, or not lawyers, lawmakers, politicians, jackasses out there that they do nothing. They do nothing. We need to get them the fuck out. We need to get them out.
So with that all said, thank you for hanging out with us for the first basically 55 minutes or so of tonight's episode. We're going to get a little lighter now. We're going to have a little fun to end it. We're going to kind of do a pretty much 180. In fact, I'm just going to turn my hat around because that's pretty much what we're doing here. We're going from very serious to very not so serious. Although some of the things may get a little heated as we move forward, because what we are going to do tonight, as you can see here on the screen, is discuss something from Major League Baseball. Now, what that's going to be isn't exactly the standings, although I think we can probably go in that order. I think it's a nice, fun way to do it based on the standings earlier tonight. I don't know if any games have happened that would have changed the standings, so we'll just go with the order of...
Did you explain what we're doing?
No. I was about to get there. We're going to go in the order of current standings as of earlier tonight. And what we are going to do, with the inspiration of TikTok sensation Annie Agar, who, if you're not following her, you pretty much need to if you like sports. She is probably one of the funniest people I think I follow on TikTok. The stuff she comes up with is
good content.
Amazing. A lot of it NFL related. I know she signed, I forget who she signed with, but some major sports things. That was supposed to be a secret. You weren't supposed to hear about any game. That was just supposed to happen, and you two were supposed to be taken by surprise. So forget she said anything. That'll happen at some point in the future randomly. Well, she will just Up here, right here. Anyway, what this game is going to be is what drink is this major league team? So we're going to start in the East, both for the AL and the NL. And as we have it on there, AL comes first. Now, I know Seth prepared the AL East. I prepared the NL East. I believe, Ebby, did you prepare both?
I did.
I prepared both too.
Oh, I didn't. But hey, I'll figure it out.
You
We'll go on the fly for me for the AL East. I did everything with the NL East. I thought you asked which one I wanted to do.
Nope, I did both.
I didn't understand the assignment. All right. So, AL East, your New York Yankees. Let's round robin this. Start with Ebby.
I'm considering the Yankees like an old fashioned because they have been around forever. And I feel like it's a classy drink. And we know the Yankees think they are classy.
I like it.
No, I kind of took a different direction, so I apologize to everybody.
It's fine. I love it.
I think the way that we were kind of going about this, because I don't even necessarily know if I saw any of Annie Agar's posts or TikTok videos about doing this, but I actually went with the brand and the type of alcohol and or liquor.
Okay.
So if I'm talking about the Yankees, I'm gonna name them the Ciroc vodka. The brand that Jay-Z owns or is part of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ultra premium,
Yeah.
expensive. Those are some words that you could be using to describe those two. The Yankees like to flaunt their money, and anyone drinking Ciroc would probably be doing the same.
I did that. I like it. No, you didn't go a totally different direction. I like it. For the Yankees, since I only just now thought about this, I was kind of debating two back and forth in my head. Going between Manhattan and Long Island iced tea. Manhattan, a little too on point, but I'm going with Long Island iced tea because that's what I would have to have in order to enjoy watching them play. I absolutely hate watching the Yankees. I hate the Johnny Damon having to shave the beard and hair, and that just annoys the hell out of me. I understand it's your history and old fashioned bullshit, but give me a Long Island if I got to deal with your bullshit.
Yeah, look at Matt Carpenter. He had to shave his sweet beard into a stash where his kids didn't even recognize him.
His kid was crying. Annoying.
God. Change your ways, Yankees. Change your ways.
All right, we'll start number 2 of the AL East, Toronto, with Seth.
All right, the Blue Jays. Absinthe. And I'll tell you why.
I can't wait to hear this one.
My lights changed to green, too.
I like it. A little green fairy on you.
Absinthe. Toronto and absinthe, both from outside the United States.
Okay.
Toronto and absinthe, both a lot of fun.
We've had absinthe.
This team is stacked with a group of players that I would want to play baseball with. Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette, Kevin Gossman, Alek Manoah. The list goes on and on. Tons of dudes that I want to play baseball with. And if you got hit by a Vlad Guerrero Jr. line drive, you'd be seeing a little flying green guy too.
Was that an ad for absinthe? Go get some down at Tattered Flag today. I think they still have a few bottles left. Ebby?
And if they don't, you can come get mine.
For free.
Well, I went with vodka, and not just any vodka. Vladdy.
Ooh, I like it.
Shitty vodka. Love it. So,
I love that. I love that answer.
So with the Blue Jays, the first thing that popped into my head, obviously you're in Toronto, Labatt Blue. It's Labatt Blue. That's it.
Okay. Cool.
All right, Tampa Bay Rays.
Eddie?
So I said, I think the Rays would be like a summer shandy, like Leinenkugels, because I feel like it's always nice in Tampa, and we'll throw in the little hint of fruit in there since they are from Florida.
Okay.
Matt, go ahead. Or you want to hear mine?
Yeah, I'll go next. So the first thing I thought of, Tampa Bay Rays. What do Rays come from? The sun. What else is the sun? Sol beer. The Sol beer. It's from Mexico, but hey, it's Sol.
Man, I went a different direction. I picked Buffalo Trace Straight Bourbon, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Buffalo Trace Straight Bourbon. It's a hidden gem that's low cost and surprisingly good. The Tampa Bay Rays spend very little money, and they win a lot. And no one can still figure out how the fuck they're doing it.
I like it.
This is great because all three of us have approached this differently.
Oh yeah, completely different. All right, let's go with the Red Sox from Boston.
I got this one.
Go ahead. You go first. I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
They're Bacardi 151. You get excited about Bacardi 151 once in your lifetime, just like the Red Sox.
These are like
Hold
great
on.
ads for these teams.
Where's the...
I mean, not really. That's not. I mean, fuck off, Sox Nation. I hate you all. But
ad stream marker.
I mean, you think about it. Bacardi 151. You're excited like high school, college, like, oh, it's 77.5% alcohol, right? And then you taste it and you're like, wow, that tastes like rubbing alcohol. I never want to drink that again. It's kind of like the Red Sox. The same amount of time you spend liking Bacardi 151 is the same amount of time that the Red Sox are relevant.
So just after the turn of the century.
Fuck off, Sox Nation.
So
what's even better is your allegiance is to the AL East. So, like,
that was pretty nice.
Well, and what's funny is he's kind of dug into a couple of these a little bit. When we get to the NL East, where my allegiance is tested, I feel like I was very nice to some of the other teams. For Boston, I'm being very basic here. I'm being very fucking basic. Sam Adams.
I did the same thing. I mean, it was hard to go against it.
I didn't. There's nothing else that screams Boston.
I know. I didn't want to be like, oh, Boston, that's where Sam Adams is brewed. And then if we get to like Colorado, be like, oh, Coors Light. Makes sense.
Pittsburgh. Latrobe. Icy Light.
Sam Adams. When
the Red Sox have been as relevant as Sam Adams.
All right, let's go to Baltimore.
When I was going through, when I got to Boston and I was like, Boston, what drink is Boston? All I heard was that guy saying, your cousin from Boston.
All right, so let's go to Baltimore.
You motherfuckers better be careful.
Hey,
That's all I gotta say.
Well, let's just say you go first. Or do you want to go last?
I'll go first. I don't give a shit.
Okay.
I was honest. You guys probably know what this is, but Burnett's vodka?
Nope.
Never heard of Burnett's vodka?
Mm-hmm.
You can get it for like $7.
Oh, so it's like Vladdy.
For like $7. Yeah, but it's worse. This is going to change in the next year, but this is where we're at now. We have a really deep farm system, right? And they're a lot of fun to watch. But for now, they're the cheap vodka that anybody in college could afford.
Like it.
Abby, you go next. I'm thinking.
But buckle the fuck up for the NL East.
I have pictures for mine.
So I went with a Bloody Mary.
Ooh.
Okay.
I think It's a fishing town, right? Crab cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fishing town.
Crab cakes and
Okay,
football.
good.
That's what Maryland does.
So a Bloody Mary, a fishing town where people can have a nice drink, start their day out on the water, but with a Bloody Mary.
So you're making this difficult because
Just say Natty Bow and we'll keep moving.
well, no, like that. That's the way too easy answer. But like you said, there's a really good team popping up out of the ground right now. So your vodka kind of makes sense. Here's what I'll go with. It's in the same vein, but I'm going to go with Vox vodka. And the reason I'm saying Vox is the bottle looks damn nice. It's not the best vodka out there. It's good. It's not great, but the bottle presenting very well, which is Baltimore right now. They're starting to present well. They're turning around. They're not a bad vodka, but they're not the best yet.
And they're fun to watch, and they look good in their uniforms. The uniforms are awesome.
Moving on.
You got sweet unis.
Moving on to the NL East.
Hold on a second. Can we? The fucking Mets are 10.5 games up?
Oh yeah, they're hot.
Holy shit, Rob. I didn't know that.
Holy shit, Rob.
I mean, I've been paying attention to an extent, but I haven't been paying attention to the standings.
Yeah, it's been they've destroyed the Phillies every fucking time they've played them. So, Seth, I'm excited to see what you're doing with the NL East. So let's start with you for the Mets.
All right. So, my choice for the Mets is Hypnotic.
Okay.
The bright blue, eye-catching. They'll pull you in with their looks. Their roster is fucking fire. Even without Jake DeGrom in the rotation. But it's not always that great. And they will leave you wanting more.
It's fair. Fair.
That's funny. So you're talking about a little bit of this. A little Hypnotic.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
I want a bottle of vodka.
That's
I want a
funny.
bottle of Hypnotic.
Abby, what you got?
But I went the old school rum and coke.
Ooh.
The reason I chose the rum and coke is because it is a mixed drink, just like their neighbors in New York. A mixed drink. The rum and coke is just your simple mixed drink that is living in the shadows of the higher class mixed drink. Like the Mets have lived in the shadows of the Yankees.
Fair enough.
That's funny. For me, here's what I picked. The New York Metropolitans enjoy their Cosmopolitans
I mean,
because they're fucking
why
gay.
not?
Wow. Wow.
See, I'm glad.
Shots
I'm glad
fired.
that you guys have like a competitive, like, yeah. When we get to the Central, it's competitive.
It's not,
Seth, you can
it's
feel my
not
pain,
for your team.
but like, right? Like, my city sucks at baseball.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
I mean,
We're gonna
listen.
cover all the divisions with.
Listen, as soon as
alcoholic
Bob
beverages,
Nutting sells the fucking team, you guys will have a chance.
if that ever happens,
And they're going to eventually force him to do it.
they have to.
They
Anyway,
will.
All right. So now we move on to Atlanta, where the players play.
oh, I should have
So-
took that approach.
Abby, you go first.
I went with your good old backwoods moonshine. And I chose moonshine
Why?
because it's made in the South, just where the Braves play. If you're not careful with moonshine, just like if you're not careful with the Braves, it'll sneak up on you and do some damage.
Okay.
I went with Grey Goose. Very well known, very successful. Champions, the standard. They're the reigning World Series champions.
I like it. You
Gotta bring that in.
You can't go wrong. For me, I went a little more on the nose on this one. And even though they did get rid of Freddie Freeman, they were I was starting to like them a little bit more. Same as I kind of like this drink a little bit more. The next drink, little peach bourbon.
Georgia peaches.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get wrong with some peach bourbon. And I mean, it's a smash cocktail, and there's your Buffalo Trace, Sebby. So they're pulling in some of the AL East in there to make it. So that's where I went.
Crown Peach is fire. Throwing that out there. Little plug for Crown Peach, not like they
well, you need to just come out here and get some Tattered Flag peach bourbon.
Yeah, come out. Let's go.
Because Crown Peach ain't gonna hold a fucking candle to it.
Can we get them as like a sponsor and they can just send us stuff?
I'm sure we can send you a bottle.
We could do that.
Or you could just come out here and visit.
I mean, that's in the works as well.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Third place currently, 12.5 games back. The Philadelphia Phillies.
I got this. Long Island iced tea, and I'll tell you why.
Let's hear it.
Team has everything in the kitchen sink thrown into it. Payroll out the ass. Long Island iced tea costs $13 fucking. They'll also make you want to drink that much too, because this fucking team's been playing like garbage.
Fucking Lenny Dykstra wants to be the manager.
How do you have a payroll of $225 million or whatever the fuck it is and be 8 games under 500? The fucking Orioles are better than them. And our payroll's at 35 million. I'm listening.
I got nothing.
I'd be furious if I was a Phillies fan.
I'll just show mine here, because
I'd be furious.
it's a Philly it's a Pennsylvania classic. We're just going Yingling Lager. There's nothing else to be said. Yingling Lager. It's the Phillies. It's classic. Their
and
jerseys
still
are
lay you down
classic.
at the end of the night.
At the end of the day, it's okay.
Just like
it's not the best.
Every Philly franchise.
Well,
At least it hasn't been 1975.
Oh, so from the audience, the Jersey Turnpike, everything left on the bar pad at the end of the shift.
There you go.
All right, Abby, what do you got?
So I based my answer off of the movie Invincible, which has nothing to do with the Phillies, but it's relatable to the city of Philadelphia. I went with Bud Heavy, good old-fashioned Budweiser. Because like the people in the movie Invincible, which I'm sure they were Phillies fans.
I'm sure.
Blue collar, hardworking, love their sports teams. Just like
Thank you,
people
bastards.
that drink Budweiser.
Praise hell, praise Dale.
Inhale.
I got nothing. Oh.
Right, all you fucking Phillies fans. Let's hear from you.
Day.
You can talk shit whenever you have a better record than the Orioles until that day comes. I don't want to hear a word.
Which team's Miami?
Miami in Benito Amiami. I'm going to go first.
Go ahead.
So
Do it.
this one, I just kind of looked. I was kind of struggling for a while because other than Will Smith's song, I don't feel like this team is overly relevant, and the town's really not a whole lot either. But if you are there, you're probably looking for something like this. So I went with a little Miami Vice. It's a frozen drink. It's hot there. It looks kind of cool, but it's probably going to let you down in the end because there's probably not enough alcohol in it.
I mean, they taste good, but it's one of those frozen poolside drinks.
Ellie, do you want to go or do you want me to?
I'll go. I chose Four Loko.
Ooh, good one.
I like it.
Because Four Loko looks cool. Marlins Stadium looks cool. Reel you in, might taste good, might get a couple wins. But we know in the end, the situation will just end up very, very bad.
I like it. I like it a lot. I chose Captain Morgan spiced rum.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Captain Morgan spiced rum is cheap. A bottle of it costs more than it is to get into a Marlins game. and the number of people who like it above anything else are few and far between.
Like more than the Marlins attendance.
I mean, you think about it. People like Captain Morgan, but they only like it with something else.
It's true.
Well, yeah, you go to a Miami Marlins game to watch the other team.
But you got to mix it with something. So the only team that I'm really going there for is whoever the Marlins are playing.
True.
It's like going to a game in Pittsburgh.
But there are a few fans out there. There's a few. But just like the few that like Captain Morgan spiced rum.
And drink Four Loko.
I kind of want some Captain Morgan now. All right, moving on to Washington. Not so long ago, they were the World Series champs. Currently 18-34, 17 games back.
Orioles trade for Juan Soto.
Why not?
I think they should.
So when I think of the Nationals, I think of any IPA that's out there. Anyone. Doesn't even matter. And the reason is because it's DC. I feel like DC is just full of IPA lovers.
I like it.
That's funny.
Other kind of lovers.
That is very true.
So I'm going to follow that up because I kind of went in the same vein, but a completely different direction. I went in DC to an old fashioned, but not just any old fashioned, a brandy old fashioned, because the people in DC need to have the fancy things. That's why they put the stadium on the lower east side. It's okay down there. We'll make that area nicer now. Brandy old fashioned. I picture Thurston Howell drinking this, like sitting at a game.
Yeah. I mean, did you go to any Nationals games when you lived down
I
there?
had season tickets, bro. It was like a 13-game plan, but I had season tickets.
Were there people in suits?
Oh, yeah. Dude, all the time.
There you go.
It was very weird there sometimes.
A lot of cherry blossoms.
It's where we had our engagement photos.
Let's hear it, Seth.
You ready?
What you got?
The Washington Nationals. Fireball whiskey. You ready do you want to know why?
I can't wait.
Man, they were on top of the world once, weren't they? Florida Georgia Line and country music put Fireball on the map, and in a few years, they descended right back out of mainstream and into the cellar.
Now you can pick up fake Fireball at Sheets.
Yep.
I never
Here we are.
understood what the whole
2022 Nationals cellar Fireball cellar. But at one point, they were on top of the world.
They were fancy like Applebee's on a date night.
No longer.
Yeah.
No longer. Washington traded Juan Soto to the Orioles, and then you can still hop on the I-95 Beltway and come over and see him. Don't trade him to the Dodgers. They have enough.
We'll catch you in Pittsburgh when you guys are on the East Coast road trip.
They have enough.
That's funny.
We knocked out 2 divisions. We got more to come.
So we got the Centrals next time.
Yeah.
4.
We could go just right
Sure.
across the map.
Yep. NL Central, AL Central. Let's do it.
Oh, man. The NL Central should be good.
Milwaukee, St. Louis, Pittsburgh, Chicago.
A lot of
Cincy.
beers. A lot of beers in those cities.
Yeah. A lot of losers in those.
A lot of tears.
A lot of losers.
Can't even say tears for the Pirates.
2 teams above 500, I think.
Yep.
Pirates are in third, aren't they?
22 wins.
Yeah. Same number as the fucking Phillies.
Yes, I know.
That's the joy of baseball. Pirates have been in first place plenty of times in the month of May and June.
Hey, just think. At least you don't have to worry about them trading to keep Brian Hayes away. Not this year, at least.
Sure they
But
will.
next year, trade him to a contender. We know we signed him to that 8-year, $80-some million deal. We don't want to pay that.
After 1 year.
Yeah. Like, hooked all you motherfuckers in.
And we'll give him a bobblehead.
Yeah. Yeah. And they'll give out the bobblehead the day after he leaves.
That's funny.
I had this, speaking of Pirates bobbleheads, obviously I used to go to the games for giveaways. You know, at one point I had a group of Pirates bobbleheads that nobody was on the team. They were all active MLB players, but none of them were active Pirates.
So funny thing that you mentioned about that. Did you see the random stat? And I am completely switching gears here, but it kind of has the same vein. NBA Finals stat. Every NBA Finals since I think they said like
Oh, the early 70s.
yeah, like 71 or something has a former Knicks player playing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's insane.
The stats are weird.
Yeah.
It's like
I'd love to know who's like sitting around looking that shit up.
it's just like the Big 33 football game. Every Super Bowl has had a participant in the Big 33.
They just had the Big 33 on Saturday
Or Sunday.
at my alma mater.
So the way things are going, somebody that played in that game on Saturday will play in a Super Bowl.
Makes sense. I mean, when you get the best players out of 2 states, I mean,
Crazy. There was also a stat that I think it was, I don't know how many years running, but I think it went back all the way to like the mid 80s that somebody playing in the NBA Finals was a teammate of Shaq's.
wow.
At some point in their career, they played with Shaq.
Interesting.
Yep.
All
We're going
right.
down rabbit holes now.
So with that said,
There's been at least one former Knicks player in each of the last 76 NBA Finals.
Jesus.
76.
That's crazy.
It goes all the way back to 1947.
All right, everybody. Well, I think that's going to wrap up episode 4. Thank you to River for some outro music here. We're just vibing as we head out. And we're going to say we're going to see you next time. Still some debate.
We'll
Possibly next week, possibly 2 weeks, possibly 3 weeks. We are going to figure it out. Check the socials to figure out what's going on. We will see you guys very soon.
No matter what, we will be back.
Exactly.